Today, we're checking out an affordable guitar with a great feature set from a brand that isn't really a household name. Let's check it out. Yes, welcome back to the channel, you guys. As I mentioned, today we've got a brand that kind of flies under the radar. It's not a household name, especially here in North America. Now, this brand is the largest manufacturer of guitars on planet Earth. So, what do we have in the studio? Well, we've got a Cort. So this guitar is the Cort G280 Select. Now this guitar was sent into the channel by the guys from Cort, so huge thanks to those guys. And of course we're going to give it the full rundown, including specs, tones, and we're going to do a teardown because I'm curious to see what's underneath the pickguard in terms of pickups and electronics. So we'll pull the neck off, pull the pickups out, check out the whole situation there. So let's jump in and check it out. Now, as you guys may remember, last year I did a demo of the Cort G290 Fat, and I was absolutely shocked how amazing that guitar was, having never played a Cort before. Well, other than my Squire guitars, other than PRS SE, other than GNL Tribute, other than Ibanez, other than Gretsch made in Indonesia, other than Schecter made in Indonesia, and probably a bunch of other brands that I don't know about yet. All of those guitars were made by Cort, plus a bunch of acoustic brands as well. So they make a ton of instruments. All to say, I probably shouldn't be shocked that they can make a good guitar. So clearly Cort knows how to make a great guitar. But what about the G280 Select? Well, let's get into it and find out what this guitar is all about. Then we'll do some tones and of course do the teardown, find out what's inside and what the construction is like on this guitar. So I'm just going to quickly highlight some specs. Full list of the specs will be in the video description below. You guys can check it out there. Now, starting on the headstock, locking tuners. Always love to see it. They are Cort branded and they work super well. Love the very thick kind of thumb wheels. Super easy to use. Moving on to the nut. Well, unfortunately, there's nothing listed on the spec sheet, which means it's probably just basic plastic or synthetic bone, as manufacturers will call it. That being said, it's super nice. It's cut really well, so that's great. The neck is maple and the fingerboard is rosewood. We also have a compound radius, which is like absolutely fantastic on a guitar like this. So it's a little bit rounder here for making your chords, and then it flattens up high for like doing soloing. So very, very nice. Satin on the neck, and here's just kind of like a look at the profile. Always hard to see, but it's more of like a sort of like a flatter D kind of thing than like a Fender C. So very, very fast and very, very smooth. Now moving on to the body, we've got an alder body with a flame maple top. Now they just list it as a flame top, but I'm pretty positive in this price tier, it's just gonna be a veneer. When we pull it open, we'll take a look there. Now, here's the back of the body. As I mentioned, it's alder on the back, and look at those contours and comfort cuts. Absolutely fantastic. That heel joint is just contoured in a few different ways. Big belly cut and stuff, so very, very comfortable, I've got to say. Now, other than that, we've got some Cort branded pickups. Again, we'll take a look at them. I think from listening to them, they're probably Alnico pickups for the single coils, but again, we'll pop it out and look at it. 5-way switch, simplified volume tone, very easy to use. Floating trem. So this is actually routed so that you can bend up or bend down, which makes it a little trickier to set up for like a beginner, but it's very versatile, so you can really get a lot of tones. And when I do my solo, I'll make sure I use that bar and bend up and bend down. The plate for the trem is very, very thick and it's solid steel. There's also a set screw right here, so it's a very high-end trem that works really, really well. And other than that, well, this guitar is just really playable. It's very comfortable, it's very ergonomic, it's well balanced. The fretwork is really good. When we look at the front face of the frets, you can see how shined up and buffed up they are, which makes, very, very smooth right out of the box. Fret ends also very nice and very smooth up high and down low. Nice features like the truss rod adjustment wheel right here at the base of the neck, cut out really clean, very convenient to use. So there you guys go. And as you know, I like to play on a guitar for about a month before I demo it on the channel, so I really know the ins and outs. And this one probably took a good week to really break in and hold tune. So if you get one, start using the bar early and often so that the whole system kind of just breaks in. So, once I broke it in, it's just been holding tune excellent. I'm going to use the bar a bunch on the solo, as you guys will see. But there you guys go. That's just kind of like the highlights of the guitar. Yeah, great instrument. Let's listen to some tones. All right, so let's start off by testing the humbucker with a little gain. Here we go. Next up, let's dial the gain down just a hair and go to more of like a classic rock tone. Let's take a listen. All right, now let's test out a little bit of a bluesy breakup tone and take a listen. And finally, let's play completely clean. We'll work our way from the neck to the bridge and test out all the clean tones. All right, now let's take the Cort and jam over a backing track. Link to the track, as always, is in the video description below. I'm going to try to use the bar a bit to show the flexibility of that floating system. Let's take a listen to the 1-minute solo. All right, now that we've heard the tones on the G280, well, it's time to commence with the teardown. Let's see what this thing is built like. Now, first things first, let's check out the trem cavity. Now, as you guys can hopefully see, it's a very nice machined block, and there's only 2 springs on there, which really kind of explains why I found this system just so smooth and so responsive. It's just, you know, the lightest flutter gets transmitted into, you know, the whole system, and it just works super well. And it's designed for, you know, maximum travel. So, you know, full down to the pick guard, plenty of room there. Or if you bend up, there's plenty of room to go up as well. And you can, you know, set it to your preference, but this is kind of just the way it came. So yeah, that's the trim system. And as I mentioned, you know, the bridge plate and the saddles, everything looks good. According to Cort, it's all out of, you know, stainless or solid steel, I should say. And it is very, very nice. There's no doubt about it. It looks really, really good. And I've got to say, you know, as I mentioned, after about a week of like really using this guitar heavily, the system just seemed to click and everything just kind of like holds tune perfectly now. So that's the backside and the trem cavity. Let's pull the neck off the pickguard. Here we go. Now, the first thing I noticed when pulling the guitar apart was the inside of the cavities are nicely shielded, which is always great to see. Now, the next thing I noticed when I looked at the pickups, well, yeah, the single coils were Alnico. Just by listening to them, I had a hunch that they were Alnico pickups, and they are. I'll show the serial numbers on them or the codes on them. If anybody knows what they are, that's what they are. And here's the humbucker as well. As you can see, it's like, you know, wax potted to the moon. So, you know, you're not going to get any squealing or microphonics when you play with a lot of gain. So that's great to see as well. And other than that, the neck pocket looks excellent. I mean, it was set in there very, very well, which is again, great to see. And I love the overall design, the ergonomics of that neck joint. The other thing I noticed that I think could be nice upgrades, I mentioned this in my G290 Fat demo as well, is small alpha pots and a pretty cheap feeling and looking switch. So I think the weakness of the G280, just like the weakness of the G290 Fat, is probably on the electronic sides. You know, the specs on the guitar are excellent, from the compound radius neck to, you know, great trem system, great sounding pickups, locking tuners, blah, blah, blah. It's a great guitar, but I think the weakness, or, you know, an area that a person could upgrade, or hopefully Cort in the future will upgrade, is just to some bigger pots and some higher quality switches. So in a lot of ways, that sums up how I feel about this guitar. Really well made, very playable, great sounding pickups, lots of amazing features. Weaknesses under the pickguard. I'd love to see Cort kind of like, you know, upgrade those switches and pots. Hopefully they'll do that in future years. This top is a veneer, so when I had everything apart, you could tell it's just a thin piece of maple. But I gotta say, every single G290 or G280 I've seen, either in person or online, just drop dead gorgeous tops. I swear they must be keeping the best veneers for their in-house brand, because they're all just really, really gorgeous and really well done. You know, the cream binding and the darker stained alder and that sort of amber flame top. Yeah, just really well done, and they all look really great. So that's kind of my final thoughts on the G280 Select. Hope you guys enjoyed the demo. If you did, be sure to subscribe to the channel. All my information, links to the guitar, all the gear I use, all that stuff is down in the video description below. Other than that, have yourself a great day.